Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. We're here today with ClearTech Loop. We're on the move and in the know. I'm Joe Peterson. I am the CIO of Clarify 360 and the Chief Analyst for ClearTech Research. And I'm here today with James McQuiggan, founder and CISO of Apparent Security. Hi, James.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
So a little bird told me that you had one, maybe two dad jokes that you were going to do with us today. Was that little bird right?
Well, yeah, I have plenty more. I could
Oh,
do a whole 10 minutes on dad jokes, but
wow.
we have other
Okay.
topics. But yeah, I can drop one or two, I think,
All
into our
right.
little segment today. Oh yeah, bring it.
I can't wait to see the audience response on that. So, in case you're not following James, you should be, because he is a threat intelligence strategist and an educator. He's a course director for Full Sail University. He's part-time faculty for Valencia College, and he's the education director for the Florida Cyber Alliance. So James is going to take you to school. That's what James is going to do. That's my dad joke for the day. I don't know. But he spent the last 25 years translating cybersecurity risk into boardroom language and frontline action. He's built programs across critical infrastructure. He's led human risk initiatives at scale, and he's delivered 500 plus presentations, probably one or two with a dad joke inside them, from the front desk to the executives and the boardroom. I love his approach. It's collaboration first, protect always, and never underestimate the power of making security human. So, great resume. And again, thank you for the time today. And in case you're joining the podcast for the first time, we are a hot take approach. It means I'm going to ask James 3 questions, and they are of the moment, and they are all about AI security. So let me get going with the first one. James, give me your thinking around shadow AI. Is it an IT problem, a security problem, both, neither? And how are CISOs and CIOs addressing shadow AI in their environments? What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. Real excited because these are important topics that I know a lot of folks are dealing with. But interestingly enough, I think we're seeing what is old is new again. Whether it's in approvals, whether it's implementations, whether it's the threats. But I'm thrilled to be here and have this conversation with you. So shadow AI is kind of the successor, we'll say, of shadow IT. For years, CISOs and IT folks and organizations have dealt with shadow IT of people using cloud services or whatever else. Now we've got folks utilizing shadow AI where they're trying to be more efficient. People know or may not know if their organization has a policy. They may or may not have had any type of training from within their organization because AI is moving at such a rapid pace. Even last year, we were seeing that it was doubling every 7 months. And with what we've seen already here in the first few months of 2026, the advancements and the changes are incredible with what we're seeing and the technology and the capabilities. The problem that we're seeing is you've got organizations that are trying to get policies implemented, and the technology is moving a lot faster than they can keep up. People are worried about AI. They're worried that AI is going to take their job. And there's the saying that's out there is, AI is not going to take my job. Somebody that knows AI is going to take my job. So people are trying to either get familiar with it or they're sticking their head in the sand. And so you've got organizations and people that are out there that are just trying to keep up and wanting to leverage using AI, whether it's, generative AI or agentic AI, a large language model, whatever it may be, but leveraging different tools, or even with developers, leveraging things like Claude Code and other capabilities to do the code so they can be more efficient and get the work done. And so you've got all these organizations and people that are trying to use it, but now you've got the CISOs and the leadership inside the organization. And essentially it's both. It's IT, it's security. that are having to deal with it. You've got information security, cybersecurity folks that are getting the policies and the governance out there so they can manage it. But then there's the technology aspect where we're trying to implement tools or capabilities so that people can't access it. But it's like we've seen so many times when you try to stop a human from doing something, they're going to figure a way around it. And they're going to figure their way to get to it. So we have to work, this cybersecurity is not the department of no. We need to be the department of, okay, well, let's try to work on that and come up with different policies, come up with different programs, different ways that people can leverage, whether it's using an AI proxy to filter and look at what those requests are that are going out, make sure that we're not sending sensitive information up to a large language model environment or whatever else. We're needing to make sure that we have technology that can safely let our users gain access to those large language models or the AI tools that they want versus them just trying to be sneaky about it. Now, all of the computers that are being used, I don't know if anybody's ever been curious to know what kind of music a computer likes to listen to. Well, that would be an algorithm.
Oh, no. Okay. Number one dad joke. All right, guys, just give him a little room because he'll give us some more. I know he will. But James, you made such an important point, and what I liked is that very clear to me that you're an educator because you're the only guest that I've had on the podcast talk about the fact that education is a key component of rolling out any sort of policy. And I'm sure everybody else knows that. That's not new information, but you brought it right to the front because I feel like if the CISO can't baseline the environment, he's not going to know what department is maybe ahead of the others. Like, so for example, the marketing folks are going to be way ahead of the accounting folks. No offense to either group, but
Nope,
they just
right.
are, right?
Yep.
And so he knows that he's got some folks that are really heavy AI users in marketing. What's the next step then? How does he make sure that they continue safely on their journey? That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because as I started off with, what's old is new again. We're still trying to get our hands around, the technology. We're still trying to get our hands around what we have, that inventory. The fun saying of you can't protect what you don't know about. So we have to know about all the software. We have to know about all the hardware. We have to know about our users. We have to know about what AI tools are out there that our users want or are going to be using and going through and educating them first. Because for me, anybody that has an email address in the organization has a key to the front door, can be susceptible to a social engineering attack or
Mhm.
using an AI tool or accessing a site inappropriately. And so it's a matter of not just hitting them once a year with training. It has to be frequent. It has to be continuous. It has to be almost be monthly. And I'm not talking about doing 45 minutes, but like micro learning, 5 minutes,
Mhm.
something in a newsletter, a video that goes out, or lunch and learn, or something that, gets out in front of the user so they go, oh, right, okay, the new AI tool or AI is doing this. Okay, got to be aware of that. And having that awareness is one part of it, but they've got to make sure that the behavior is there for them to make sure that they're taking the necessary steps to keep the organization secure from, using unapproved AI tools. And so it's got to be education. It's got to be where they're kept up to date. And it's, as I said, it's moving fast. So we're always going to be behind the eight ball. We're always going to be playing catch up. But if we can at least have something out there going out, every couple of weeks, letting folks know, and maybe even be letting them know about here's how the different attacks are going. Here's what we need to do to make sure we don't fall victim to this kind of attack and keep that education, keep that learning going.
That's so good. So much has come out about, I mean, I got to give it to Mulf Book, AI agents having their own social platform. Like who knew, right? So let's talk about these non-human identities or NHIs a minute. How are you As you talk to CISOs and CIOs, how are you seeing those folks enabling these NHIs?
Yeah, I mean, your NHI is, that non-human identity. It's got control. A lot of them are trying to get their hands around it because when you're putting out the service and the product, you're having to make sure that you're controlling its access. You don't. Part of it is you want it to be able to communicate or give back information like a large language model on resources and things that you have in your organization, so you have to give it access to if hopefully not, but I know folks are doing it with email. They're doing it with all the different directories, all the data that they've got in the organization. And what's happening is sometimes you have people that go in and ask it a question and it gains access to something that the person isn't supposed to know. And so you're now having to control the data flow for the users based on what their permissions are. Because when the NHI's got full access to everything, it's going to give everything. And so we're again getting back to API security. We're getting back to authorization of what data can be shared with what people. And if that's not implemented and it's just wide open, it's going to be a lot harder for organizations to be able to lock that down if they're not being fully aware of it, and exposing data that to their users that they're not supposed to see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last question. But before we do that, the audience is begging for a second. Sure.
Well, I have to admit, Joe, when it comes to security, you certainly are a true emphasis of a security-minded, and I'm going to say woman here because this leads up. You are a security-minded person, plain and simple. But when it comes to women, I don't know if you know the name of the most secure woman in the world. Her name is Emma Faye. So there you go.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're on to the last question. When you hear the term AI defense, what comes to mind for you?
AI defense, kind of the first thing we think of is our own defense. What are we doing defending our organization with AI? And there's actually three ways that I look at this. And the first one is defense. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because we've already been doing AI predictive analysis or machine learning in our security products for the last 10 plus years. I remember going to RSA 10 years ago and AI was everywhere then with security products. So we know we've got that capability, and now we're leveraging AI with large language models with regards to, doing knowledge-based questions, help desk, that kind of stuff. But what we're looking at now is AI defend in the fact that cyber criminals and scammers and nation states are out there using AI to generate phishing emails. For years we always said, check the spelling, check the grammar, because because cyber criminals from nation states and other parts of the world, English wasn't their first language, and so
Right.
you were able to easily spot that. Well, now that goes away, and they can do it not only in English but Spanish and Portuguese and Russian and Japanese and all the other languages that aren't exactly easy to learn quickly. For a large language model, that's no problem. And so essentially now on the AI defend, we've now got to make sure that we're defending against the AI attacks that cyber criminals are leveraging, whether that's agentic type attacks, which we are hearing about. We're starting to see that. And essentially then looking to move forward with the AI defend of our own organization, but also securing the AI systems themselves. We've got all of our AI systems that we're using inside of organizations. We have to make sure we defend those, because if a cyber criminal gets in and they gain access into that AI environment, that's it, game over. They're going to have access through, the agentic AI to all your data, all your systems. And so we have to make sure that we're defending that. So it's AI defend of the attacks coming in, AI defend of us defending, and then also defending our own AI tools, products, and services as well.
I think that's a very good holistic answer. So thank you for that. But before we leave, I know you have one more dad joke for us.
One more dad joke. Okay. Um, do you know what a computer and an air conditioner have in common?
Mm-mm.
They're both useless when you open Windows.
Oh my. Okay. All right. For more dad jokes, but more importantly, for great virtual cybersecurity support, get hold of James. He's on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
so get hold of him and he'd love to help you. James, thank you for taking time today. It was lovely visiting with you. Bye,
My pleasure.
everyone.